Welcome to FMA Talk Live. I'm your host, Datu Tim, and this is my wonderful co-host,
Dean Franco.
What happened in your hair, Dean?
Oh, wait. PG Tye. How you doing?
Okay, good. All right, listen. The show is the rant. I don't need to rant anymore because it always comes up in the show. We will talk about what happened this weekend, which is a really good thing. You know, really good stuff happened. But I don't want to wait. So we've got WMA Canada. That's what today's show is all about. So I'm going to bring in each guest one at a time, tell them where they're from, and then we'll go from there. So first of all, our first Canadian PG, Punong Guro, Craig Mason, all the way from Sudbury, Ontario. How you doing, Craig?
Evening, everyone.
Okay, so he's Sudbury School of Martial Arts. He's been taking point in the the development of modern Arnis, period. Not just the World Modern Arnis Alliance, it's just period. It's the only modern Arnis up there as a program versus there are some people that have a little sprinkling in their programs, but this is carrying the banner of modern Arnis. So that's in Northern Ontario. And then two of the people that he's helped bring aboard. We'll start with Mr. Workman from North Bay, Ontario. How you doing, Mr. Workman?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on tonight.
There we go. Craig. So it's Northern Tsunami. Is there Southern Tsunamis?
Well, maybe in the forecast, but
okay.
Up here in the north, it's basically a snow blizzard.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And then we have from Deep River, Ontario, Greg Hiltz. How you doing,
everybody?
Sir?
Hey, how's it going?
We have one more person going to be here. He's not here today, or he's not here yet. He's actually teaching. Carl Outram. Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't Mr. Arnold supposed to be part of this?
Yes, he was.
I'm going to have to find out where he is.
Yeah.
So, real quick, we have. So, Rich Parsons says hello.
Hey,
he
Rich.
says hello to Ty and I and screw the rest of you because he didn't mention you.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't matter. I see how it is.
Oh, there we go.
In the next post, he mentions Craig. So, it's the hell with the rest of you guys. Oh, wait a minute. No. He mentioned Chris. So, basically, everyone.
That's okay.
And,
I'll be
Tim
last.
says hello for everybody. And Tim, you did show up as Tim Dobson. So that's good. But he doesn't like you, Greg. I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, it's because I'm a cripple, right? I'd pick on the cripple.
Could be.
Right?
Could be.
We're not talking mentally.
No. He'll kick you with his stump. So
he's
very proud of that too. So all right. And then here we go. And Rich says hello to make you feel better.
Right? No, he's just scared of the big toe. Everyone's scared of the big toe.
On that one, Greg.
Okay.
I'm going to put in a plug if it's okay. If anybody's watching the show, these guys are fine gentlemen. If you're up in the area or thinking about going up there, go up there, look them up, each of them, and go play with them. They will be a blast.
So I'm going to apologize to everyone who's watching the show ahead of time. This is what we call chaos. This is. I mean, and the thing here is, just think about a show with everyone drinking and having hooting and hollering, but no alcohol is required for this one. Okay, so Sam
just
Stone
plugs
said,
in fun times.
So, like I said, we're missing two. I'm going to message the other one. So Ty, why don't you start us off? Hey,
Well,
what did you do? Hey, what did we do this weekend, Ty?
We had fun in Delaware. A nice IDC with a lot of good material, a lot of good training, on a lot of just good folks.
So an IDC is Instructor Development Camp.
Yep.
For those who are not sure what that is, we speak in code.
That's right. Well, I work for DoD way too much, so everything's an acronym.
All right. You keep going. I'm gonna just.
But yeah. So
get holding the
PG Chad, who's not here, he put together an event at Cornerstone Martial Arts, and it was 2 days of intensive training in everything from blunt walk concepts to the bread and butter basics of modern Arnis and everything in between.
Okay.
A lot of good stuff.
Yep. I was the instructor for that. Ty helped me out with a lot of the demonstration. A lot of good questions where I really like the IDCs, because we can dig in deep. I enjoy big camps because of the energy. I have a blast when we have bigger camps. But when the camps are over, I always feel I'm missing something. And the thing here is that it becomes so much of a buffet at times, we don't get to do any real good work. And we used to have a lot of guest instructors, and now I'm really focusing more back on us, and like we have Mike and May Williams. They do Arnis, they do C-Lot. Well, we've got them coming in for C-Lot specific this July. I like giving people a little flavor, but I don't want to overload it with all these guest instructors and then not having enough substance for what we're supposed to be doing. So this, at the April camp, I've got PG Craig and Ty and Chad all teaching, but we're going from the same script. So no matter who's teaching, the topics that we need covered will be covered. And then we'll have a guest instructor. And now, I'm not saying it is a guest instructor. This is the guest instructor, but our friend of ours is coming, Dean Franco, the other co-host. And then Eric said, C-Lot, awesome. Yeah, so C-Lot okay, so Eric, love Eric. Eric, in my opinion, of all the people I've seen, he is I don't know if he's the best guy from Mall Morning or not, but I know for a fact that he's Mall's favorite training partner. And awesome. I met Mall Morning through Eric, and we've become tight. And Eric, I've met Eric. Actually, I met Eric at Jeff Ramsey's. Jeff had a fundraiser, asked me to present. I did, and Eric had known who I was. And he had a couple of people with him. We started talking, and we all connected. And then he goes, "Hey, I got Mall coming." So then I showed up. I go to Janice. Hey, what are we doing this holiday weekend? How would you like to go to DC? That would be awesome. Who's teaching in DC? It was Mall Morning. Never heard that name before. Is he good? Would I go to see someone who wasn't? No. Okay. We went down. We visited for about an hour. Went down and just hung out. Went down to DC, hung out, and came back. And then I, trained for a couple hours before we went back. It was funny too because like, Janice, I wanna get a picture with Mall, but am I a fanboy if I do that? And just as I was about to say, "Hey, I'm gonna take off," Mall goes, "Hey, can we get a picture together?" I'm like, "Dude!" And we both happened to be teaching in Rome at the same time. That was pretty cool. I'm breaking my rule of no eating, but because I haven't eaten all day. So Mira also says hello. Mira from Soma.
That's one of my it's one of my juniors.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to do this show. We've done all these shows. We've had Are you in town the 9th of December? I'm in DC the 9th of December, if that's what you're asking, Eric, because I'm teaching with Terrell Richardson. There we go. You will call that a drum roll as opposed to old age having a mental block there. But if you're asking me if I'm going to be in DC, yes, I'll be down there. If you're asking me if I'm in Buffalo, no, because I'm flying down there. Actually, Ty's going to pick me up from the airport. So this is the first time I've flown down that way in a long time. I'm going to feel weird, but I need that many miles to get me to gold status in Delta. So it's like, all right, you know what? Going to do it. So, and Eric messaged me, and we can set up a time to talk too. So, we've been doing a lot on the show. We've talked about a whole bunch of things. Some of the shows have been my rants. Clearing up misnomers or talking about things like, hey, what was the belting system like? What were camps like? What was the uniform? All these other things. And some of these shows I've done on my own from Datu's Corner. Ty and I teamed up, and now we're in the third season. We're coming up to the end of the third season of FMA Talk Live. And for those who weren't around back then, I used to have a discussion board, FMA Talk, which was it was a V Bolton. So you actually post stuff up. It's before Facebook. And it was the world's largest one specifically for Filipino martial arts. And it came a spinoff from Martial Talk, which was one of the top martial art discussion groups. And Modernist was one of the most talked topics in that as well, which is why we were able to spin off. So, so FMA Talk is mostly for the Modernist community, because that's what we are. But we do bring some other people in, and Justin goes, Canada. So, I go through. We've done a lot. We've had people from outside the organization. I think I've been very good at bringing people in and giving a lot of fair time. And I don't think what we've done is really featured the WMA members as a whole. Not that we haven't. It's just that I haven't done the deep dive. And this is the shameless plug for what we do and who we are, because, well, no one else is doing a show like this to promoting modern Arnis. Obviously, yeah, that'll work. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so I'll finish my thought. I'm going to turn it over to you because I'm trying to get Jason in. I wanted to talk about. We're talking about. We're always talking about, hey, where have I been? Where have you been, Ty? But I'm not the only one that promotes the art in our organization. So I wanted to feature. This show will be specifically on the Canadians. We're going to talk about what's going on in Brazil, and then finally in the States. Now, we do have other stuff going on in other countries. That one's a little harder because of the time zone differences. So we will talk about stuff about Europe in the future, but right now. And then Lex says, nice guys.
Nice.
And it's like, Lex, I don't know if we're really all that. We're all nice guys, but we're also a little psychotic. Like I said, we put the fun in dysfunctional. But listen, I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna see about getting Jason on board, and then you all do you.
Sure. So actually, since we were talking about what all happened this weekend, I noticed that one of y'all, at least one of y'all, had an event this weekend. So I'll start with you, Chris. Would you get all three of us?
All three of us had something going on this weekend.
So I'll start with Chris though. So tell us about what is first off, how do you pronounce the university that it was at?
It was Nipissing University.
Nipissing, because I was going to say it a different way.
Yeah. Okay, you tell me what you're going to say.
I don't know, something about pissing.
No, I want to hear the American pronunciation for Nipissing.
Pissing.
Oh.
Anyway, so start with yours and then we'll go on.
This past weekend I was up at Nipissing University and was hosting a self-defense workshop for the criminal justice group up there. So they had contacted me, and one of my students, Derek Utfitch, he came out and accompanied me to help me train the group for the afternoon. So we had a really good session going over core concepts, everything from our pin and toucan to our dumog, and then we're looking at near the end, we always throw in a little bit of flair. So we're doing, disarm, so empty hand versus stick. And then we did a little bit of dagger disarm. So, the intro stuff using, dagger wrist shocks. And then if they fail, bringing into forearm disarms. And they really enjoyed the content. It was nice to get up there. And we'll be looking to doing something probably next semester. So, yeah, it was a good time, and it's one thing I really enjoy about joining the WMAA. Getting involved with Craig at first, he was just using me as a piñata.
Perfect.
But, I was throwing him on the ground a lot and choking him out. So it's only fair to stick to return the love. But overall, it's the one thing I really enjoy about joining this organization, getting involved, is how modularized everything is. We have everything is built into solid modules of content, and everything flows from a solid foundation of basics all the way into creating that flow, getting that dynamic flow, and really, enhancing your self-defense. And it doesn't matter if you come from a jiu-jitsu background, a kickboxing background, karate background, you're going to be able to easily integrate the modern Arnis Braces system into what you do. So having come myself from a jiu-jitsu background, it was almost seamless because, the relationship that Remy had with Professor Wally J, and a lot of Japanese jiu-jitsu practitioners, have that foundation from Professor. So just, the integration with the DUMOG, the different nuances, but also the different enhancements that came with it has been really beneficial in delivering core content when doing workshops, small seminars, visiting schools and training groups. And we had a really good time up in Sudbury. We did our northern camp with Craig, and we were able to bring in, we called it stick grappling, but it was basically our Palis on fire. So
Nice.
it was, yeah, we had a really good time, but all three of us were really busy this weekend. It was nice to see, we're sharing stuff up there, getting the word out, letting people see that, we're here, and we'd like to grow that more. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to bring more people into the fold and share what we have with them. So it was a good weekend overall.
No, it sounds like it. And so just quickly before I go on to Craig next, so this is you said criminal justice students. Was it an existing club or just a one-off kind of a deal or an ongoing thing?
So it'll probably be a reoccurring. They really enjoyed the content. They had reached out to me just through probably looking through my social media, through Instagram or Facebook, or hitting my website. So they reached out to me a couple months back, and we set this up. So these are future students that will enter, law enforcement, and are already working in the security system services. One of the girls is working security at a casino. Others are looking at getting into the Ontario Provincial Police stream, and others just working in general law enforcement or just wanting to learn, some safe practice. So
yeah, that's a good start all around. Good deal.
Yeah,
good deals. So Craig, you want to continue on? What else you guys were doing this weekend?
Greg or Craig?
Craig, yes, I was in non-specific.
Yeah, what the seniority go first, eh?
Well, we had the SOMA Stick It to Cancer Sparathon actually at the school. We had actually 16 fighters. Awesome. Collectively, we raised over $2,500 for the Northern Ontario family with cancer. So it's basically for it's NOFCC. So it's Northern Ontario Family with Children with Cancer. So it's basically up north. So it's an organization that helps out families that have to travel a lot, everything like that with children that have cancer. And we usually try to keep everything local, something we've talked about for a while. Back when I got introduced to the Dog Brothers, we did Beat the Crap Out of Cancer, and that ran for basically 10 years in Ontario. And I kind of tried to keep a similar thing rolling with locally. And this is the third year we've had it, and we're going to continue on it. Probably setting the date for next year.
That's awesome.
Look who just joined.
That's great.
Jason
Hey,
Arnold.
Mr. Arnold.
How's it going, brothers?
Hey. No, so actually, I'm going to tag in. So Craig, another example of paying it forward with the community and stuff. I think that's been cropping up more noticeably, and so I appreciate that. That's really cool. And then also Chris working with the future in law enforcement. Hey, that's sort of paying it forward too as well. Plus setting them up right. Anything else you want to say about that, Craig?
No, it's just it was a phenomenal success. It was nonstop fighting for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And it was crazy. Like my juniors, I had two of my young ladies. Nobody wanted to fight them. Remind me, Emily, from your school there, Datu.
Yeah, too bad she went off to college. But
yeah. These other two, is like none of the boys wanted to fight them.
I still do want to make it up to one of those beat the crap out of cancer things. That'll be great. So let my new hip heal, and then I'll be up there. So, all right. So, Greg, 3 things going on.
So, this past weekend there on Saturday, Patrick, my son, and I, right, he's about 13, we went down to Coburg, Ontario. Bill Wallace was there. So there's a bunch of us instructors at the tail end of one of his Superfoot system black belt gradings. We did a little day-long thing, so I had a 2-hour block to teach Arnis. That was a blast, right? I kicked a lot. My legs are toast.
No doubt.
Right? I had a good time. Well, Bill's amazing with the kids. He's such a blast. No, he's such a cool person to play with.
I'll be calling Carl. Hold on, guys. So I got to.
He's gonna mute again. Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, Bill's a great guy.
But, it was a good time. A great opportunity to share the Arnis, right? We didn't do anything too crazy, just some different variations of single Sinawali, block check counter, a couple of disarms, a couple of chokes, and it worked out great. Everyone had a good time. There's about 75 participants there.
Nice.
So about a third of them being adults. They're usually kid-heavy events, but I'm doing it for the fun, right?
That's about reasonable. I think a third of us here are adults, not me.
Right.
No, it's good. No, did I tell you? I think I told you the story. So Bill was the one that gave me the great advice on the hip replacement stuff.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you knew that, Greg. Yeah. So Jason, we're covering a couple things. So they were talking about things they were doing this weekend, had to do with training, Arnis or whatever. But we haven't heard from you for a while anyway. So what you been up to?
Just building gyms, working my butt off. Looking at opening a fitness store in the new year. And just been training, and that's about it. Last weekend, I think it was last weekend. No, it was 2 weekends ago. Me and Brad got together and we just worked out. Basically, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. So I brought out a dice. We had, if I rolled between 1 and 2, I used a stick. And if I rolled 3 and 4, I used a knife. And if I did 5 or 6, it was empty hand. So we did 3 rounds of each one. And then we did random. So sometimes it was him empty hand against my stick. And then we just went like basically 9 rounds. It was fun. We put a timer on for 2 minutes each round. Nobody else was there. It was just me and him. And I said it was kind of nice because I ran the warm up. I go, it's different when you got the world champion guy huffing and puffing. So
right.
It was good. A really good time.
Both of you
even did push-ups, sit-ups in between the whole bit.
Nice.
So it was good. But a couple weeks time, this weekend coming up, we're at Carl's, right?
Yep.
And then the weekend after that, I'm free. And then after that, I'm in Trinidad building a couple gyms there. But the guy owns a big security company, has like 300 employees. So he wants me to do a little bit of martial arts down there. So I'll probably introduce a little bit of modern Arnis, just kind of quick intro type thing to plant the flag. And then I'll be going back there too.
Cool.
So I mentioned earlier
on. Got some stuff on the go.
Good deal. No, yeah. So I mentioned earlier on that I thought, people should go up to Canada just to see you guys, all of you. But for those of us down here that may not know kind of situation, get us situated about where each of you are located, not using locations, but sort of distances, so people can get a feel for where each of you guys are at. So you want to start, Craig?
Well, so Sudbury, Ontario. So it's up north. You're looking at about 4 hours straight north from Toronto, basically from West Seneca, where Datu is, and pretty well 6 hours, pretty well straight north.
Yeah. And Chris?
Well, Sudbury and North Bay aren't too far apart. We're about an hour and a half, hour and 15. If Craig's driving, it's 2 hours.
Exactly.
But it's about 5.5 hours.
So you're more west, south, northeast of where he is?
Northeast.
Oh, okay. All right. So sorry about that, guys. Okay. And we'll continue with that. But
sure.
I got to get him in.
Okay.
With no
good.
further ado, Carl outro.
Hey, Carl.
No.
Hey guys, how you
Hey.
doing?
Carl got lost. He
Oh
took a
my
left
God.
turn.
Well,
Listen, I don't do this, so I have no idea
up,
what's
brother?
going on.
This is the biggest show we've ever had.
this is huge, yes. So actually, I was
what's
getting
happening,
good to see you, Carl. I was getting the gang, everyone on here to situate themselves for any of the folks watching that might want to go up to Canada and play with you guys. So since you popped in, I'll throw you right under the bus here before we get to Jason and Greg. So if you're going to describe to Americans like me who might not know, that Canada is, somewhere, some other country, where are you situated in terms of distance from easily recognizable places, like from, say, Buffalo or Toronto or wherever? How would you describe where you're at?
From Buffalo, actually, to my place, if you're leaving from Tim's place, it's an hour 45 minutes to about 2 hours, depending on traffic and how fast you drive.
North?
Yes. So yeah, you'll be taking going the QE. Yes, going north. We go
Northwest.
Northwest. Okay.
northwest. From Toronto, about an hour and maybe now 2 hours, and that's west of Toronto.
No, that's
Okay.
helpful.
Yeah, they thought he was too close, so they moved him farther out.
Yeah, and of course the province where Greg normally goes, we're about Ottawa. We're like 4 hours from there. You guys are about 10, but that's okay. We compensate. But that's actually where I'm located. And Cambridge is, in between London and Toronto, and basically Buffalo, sort of the middle point.
Okay. Well, let me get to Greg here and then Jason, and then we'll get back to you as far as what you've been doing lately too. But okay, so Greg, you want to situate yourself?
Yeah, so Deep River, I'm about 2 hours north of Ottawa, right? If you take Highway 17. Military base Petawawa, I'm about 20 minutes north from there, right? So Toronto, what is that? That's west-southwest of me. That's about 5-hour drive from where I'm at.
Wow. Are you the most
So
north?
going to visit, if I'm up there and I'm visiting Craig, that's about a 3.5-hour drive.
And are you the
Right?
most north?
So, no, I think that's where's further north? Is it Sudbury or North Bay?
Pretty.
Yeah,
Nice
technically,
Sudbury.
Deep River isn't northern Ontario, right? Because we're still part of
He's
the Ottawa
actually
Valley.
east. So he's
Okay.
he's towards
Yeah, North
Quebec.
Bay.
Yeah.
North Bay.
Yeah, like I'm right on the
Actually, I
Ottawa
didn't
River.
realize you're that far off the beaten trail there, Greg. Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
So
right.
I got
There's
all
nothing
turned
out here.
around.
You're the
Forest.
French. I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, I got all turned around. Okay, Jason, you've been patient. So you want to situate yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm basically right in between Detroit and Toronto,
Oh, that's right. I kind of knew that. I
pretty
forgot.
much. Well, actually,
Well,
I
now
just basically I'm out of Wardsville, actually, which is about 35, 40 minutes west of London. But I just tell people London because you never find Wardsville.
Nice.
and then
So-
we are missing one, not part of the group here today because it's a new school. So Jason, actually, we're missing two. Jason oversees 2 locations. So Jason himself is more of a freelance consultant, and he works with one of his best buds, Brad Fowler, who is a world kickboxing champion, and Tim McMillan. They've got a program in London, and then in Wallaceburg, Claudine. Claudine.
Bordeaux.
I'll get Claudine or Claudette. Claudine runs Wallaceburg Martial Arts.
Yes.
So
Nice.
she's the newest Canadian on board, and Jason's been doing a lot of work with getting them up to snuff and stuff, and that's his specialty right now.
That's a lot of activity there, even just on the east side of Canadionia. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, before.
Let's catch up with a couple
Yep.
comments here. Okay, so let me see here. Holy cow. Okay, so we'll pick this one up. So Lex said nice. We had that one up there.
Hey,
Darren Basil, good evening. Sam, here we go. What are most important factors for winning Arnis/Scream? Well, it depends on the sport. If we're doing blade rules It's about strategy, timing, and hitting first. If it's continuous fighting, you should be a cardio maniac. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so
Yeah,
well, let's not go down.
Pretty
Let's
well.
not go down that path. Okay, so listen, if you're doing if you're doing the continuous that's known in WCAF and GSBA, I'm not a fan of that because you get a lot of people who can win who are not good martial artists, but they're great cardio players. Then you got people with very good technique, but they don't have the same level of physicality. And when you get hit 150 times in a round, to me, the round would be the fight would be over. But that's another story.
I still think you could have good cardio regardless.
Yeah. Obviously, you need that out no matter what. Now, Bill Anderson, greetings from Southern Pacific Islands. Yep. Rich Jason. Rich
go,
Parsons. Matt
Hey,
Jones is
Rich.
making fun that I had something to eat. Well, screw you. All right. Joe Lennon was not to be confused with John. He has no Yoko in his life. Had a great time this weekend. Great grappler too. Is he one of our third degrees?
I can't remember.
I forgot what degree. Yeah.
Maybe.
So and the nice thing is, for those who weren't at camp and don't know about our camp, we had a breakdown. So we have a very expensive diploma. Ed Parker Jr. actually did the work, and I've had to have very expensive printers, and I've burnt through 3 of them. I'm on my 3rd one now. The second one busted down just before camp. We got the printer in, but the guys refused to let me work on it before camp. After camp, Ty got me hooked up. I've got the diplomas done, but I need to get all the signatures. So I've been trying whenever possible to go face-to-face with people and do all the presentations. So Miss Julia, we awarded her diploma for her Dayang Tatlo 3rd degree. Now, she did get her belt at camp. Everyone got their belts at camp. It's just we wanted to make sure we got the paperwork. And I didn't, as much as I know that I could mail out, and sometimes I have to put it in the mail, I want to do it in person. And the other thing, too, is, it took me a while because I had to get everyone's signatures because by the time we got set up, everyone was gone. Matt Jones, he's laughing. Rich says, hi, Carl.
There we go.
Hey, Rich.
Matt, he goes, it's a black PG Tye.
Carl's my brother.
Okay. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. And on that note,
There we go. There we
Matt
go.
Jones is being funny. Matt Jones is trying to be funny again. Hello to all. All right. Rich Parsons. It's about 2 hours from me. Okay, that's Jason. It's about 2 hours. Or is that Carl? Maybe that was Carl. I got the timing off on this.
That could be Jason,
Jason, yeah.
And
This
Tim
is
Dawson
about-
said he's
he's
most
closer to
likely
Rich
the
than I am.
southernmost,
Actually, I'm about 3 hours from Rich.
Then I'm 4 hours.
Yeah.
Easily.
Wait. Let's think about this. We forget the way that Jason drives. I mean, the way Rich drives. I can. So, did you guys see Days of Thunder?
Yeah.
It's basically Top Gun, but in NASCAR. When they got the 2 rental cars and they're driving like maniacs. Rich and I have a story about that in Detroit.
Oh, Lord.
His Firebird and my Impala. We'll just leave it at that for now. So, anyways, Tim is probably the southernmost in Ontario, other than Jason. And then Rich, Jason is in between Flint and Buffalo. Okay. Oh, okay. That's another way. Yeah, well, because Flint is farther over. Actually, yeah. And then Lisa King says hello. Hey, we haven't heard from
Lisa.
Lisa.
Yay.
Hey, hopefully we'll see you at the April camp, Lisa. That would be wonderful. Where the hell is the loser Dean? Oh, jeez.
I invoked him.
Yes, and then John. Yeah, we did. Don't invoke the other person.
That's right.
Joe Lennon says yes, 3rd degree. Very good. I love Datu Tim. LOL. Just kidding. It must be the beard speaking of that. Damn that beard. Okay. And then listen, I'm going to do it because he's probably watching. And if I'm going to invoke him, I'm going to invoke him properly. Remy. Okay. So now, Remy. Okay. So somebody likes making memes of me. Remy. some guy who's growling dog or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is, allegedly, every time I say Remy, he has to take a shot.
What did you just say? I couldn't hear you.
Remy. So that's at least 5 shots. Hopefully, Renee, you got a lot of catching up to do, brother, man. But if I say professor, it's okay.
Professor who?
Remy. Okay. All right. Enough making up. So because Renee's going to come in here sooner or later.
Yep.
And okay. But anyways,
well, cool. I think we're caught up on the intros and the locations. Nice. But Carl, did you have anything going on this weekend, and or what have you been doing lately with Arnis and related things?
We're doing a little bit more Arnis now at the club because I'm finding this is really interesting. This is a good question. I'm finding out that more people are calling and asking, "Do you do sticks?" I go, "Yeah." And lately, the last 3 new students that I have, they all come from Arnis.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's becoming very big, which is good. This weekend, we're hosting a gentleman by the name of, he's the Grandmaster. I think it's Datu Hartman. I think he's coming to Cambridge.
is he?
On Saturday, Sunday. So that should be a big event, the last one of the year for us. And it's going to be a lot of new faces. Some that you know, Jay, some you haven't seen for a while. So looking forward to seeing you. And but it'll be some different people. But it's getting really interesting. I think Arnis is taking off bigger than Kempo. Kempo, it's, for me now at the club, has taken the 2nd place because everyone wants to do Arnis. So yeah, we're rocking it every class now. We start off every class. Doesn't matter what the curriculum for that day is. But for the first 20 minutes to half an hour, we do Arnis to start the class. That's what we're doing now.
You know, it's been such a okay. So,
yeah,
had the car accident. Both Janice and I are doing PT. All this stuff going on. I've been traveling a lot. When you said you have this Grandmaster coming in town, I was about to say, "Who the hell are you hosting this weekend?" Because I forgot completely that it's Thanksgiving. So this is
Alzheimer's moment.
Yeah,
I heard you were dead last year.
So when we were and the thing here is like when we talk about this camp, so everyone get appreciation. I don't know if it was Craig or Carl or both of them. We were getting this, not an argument. We kept going back and forth like, "No, man, you're wrong. It's Thanksgiving. No, it's Thanksgiving. No, it's Thanksgiving. No, it's Thanksgiving." And so for everyone in the States, our Columbus Day weekend is the Canadian Thanksgiving. And I gave them a date. I'm going Thanksgiving. It's going to be November. That's Black Friday weekend, as the Canadians know it. That's when actually Black Friday, Thanksgiving weekend, is known as the Canadian invasion of New York. That's when they all come across the border all at once. The lines will be backed up for hours at a time, and they'll buy all this stuff going on.
So it's not Thanksgiving in the States?
We were supposed to. No, this is Thanksgiving in the States now, but your Thanksgiving is actually our Columbus Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
So we were going back and forth. But although the one camp we had the debacle, we were supposed to do the camp up by you.
Right.
We didn't. We moved it to Buffalo. And then I'm like, "Hey guys, this is the cool thing." It was an IDC before we actually had IDCs. And I go, since it's Black Friday, does anyone want to go out to the outlet? And I was like, "Yes." And then all of a sudden, we spent like an hour in Under Armour buying stuff. Workman was buying stuff left and right, and I was there the day before buying stuff left and right. So I was like, "Hey, I know they got good sales. Let's go."
Yeah.
But it's kind of our camp. So, although we're not going to be doing Black Friday shopping in Cambridge this weekend. So
why not? I'll
be
be there.
Saturday. It'll be Saturday.
So, Greg, I saw you did really well on the weekend. I was happy to see that.
Yeah. Greg or Craig?
Greg.
Yeah.
Hilt. Mr. Hiltz.
But I didn't do anything. It wasn't my event.
Good
What are
on
you
the
talking
weekend by the
about?
looks of it.
Yeah, I saw you were teaching with, you got to do it with Superfoot. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that was fun. No, I had a blast with it, right? My kiddo loved him. Oh my god,
It was
right? He's
fun.
like
It
the
was
crazy
okay.
grandpa.
Yeah. He's fun.
You
He's a
ain't
fun
kicking him
guy.
in the butt and strangle him and stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. I like
Yeah,
Joe.
no, it
He's
was
a fun
cool.
So all three of you who had events going on, I'm expecting photos and a write-up, so we can put it up on the website. I got to get caught up. I'm behind on a few, but I'm expecting some stuff from you guys. Okay, let me see here. Hey, Eric. Eric says hello.
Hey, Eric.
It's probably who's at the gym prior, most likely, with Brock, because Brock's always at the gym. Oh, speaking of Brock, here's Brock. Evening, gentlemen.
Hey,
And
Brock.
Deanna says hi, Carl.
Hey, Brock, how's those pecs going, buddy? Are you treating them? I'll grab them next time I see you. Okay, it's all good. It's all good.
He's almost up to a D cup.
He wants to grab Brock's pecs while Gianna's saying hello. So don't ignore Gianna completely.
Hi, Gianna. How are you? I miss you. Phew.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, I have to apologize to everyone watching this show. You don't know what you signed up for.
That's right.
yeah, I was gonna say something to
A little chaos never hurt anyone.
yeah.
It's how we keep warm up north.
There you go.
Yeah.
Listen, it was cold outside tonight, man. I had to put my dreadlocks on and my toupee and everything.
Well, you
trying to
don't
get
have a
home.
lot of insulation up top.
Dude, it's cold up there. Yeah. Listen, I was all tucked in, right? Flowing my hair and everything. And I got pants on. Let me make that clear.
You got pants on,
I
unlike
got pants on.
Mr. Hiltz. Okay, so
Yes,
What do you mean,
I knew the
unlike?
word-
I explicitly said I would wear pants. No Ranger
Yes.
panties,
oh,
right? I'm not showing off my new tattoo just under my butt cheeks, right? Thank you, Craig and Chris, right?
oh my goodness.
I
Yes.
thought we weren't supposed to be wearing any.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
So-
why we got from here up.
Are you
Okay.
going to stand up?
Doc, you better get this crowd under control, man.
Well, it's
I'm
not
just
the end of the
protecting the guy
podcast.
here.
Yeah, but
Impossible.
There's kids watching.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're only showing us from the waist up.
Listen. Listen.
Listen.
I said that's why when I put on the Facebook stuff ahead of time when it goes in, it asks, "Is this for kids or not?" And I'm like, "No, not for children."
So, what's interesting about being here with all of you? This is awesome because I'm going to say grow up, although I'm older than all of you, but grow up in the arts. And Jason Arnold, he's the very first one, sort of, that started to teach me stuff. But it was interesting. I was always warned to stay away from Jason and Tim. They were bad people, right? And then I met Jay, just from Sweden. I think you just got back, right? Was Sweden or Finland?
Yeah, I think I just moved back.
Sweden.
Sweden, yeah. And we did the seminar, and it's like, this guy's
It would have
okay.
been 2008.
Yes. Or 7, 8? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2008 was when I moved back.
Right. And I thought, wow, he's a pretty nice guy. You know, we got talking, and wow, that's pretty good. He knows a lot of stuff. I can learn from him. Cool. Got talking. And then we knew people in common. I got an instructor who decides, we're going to do something. This is a big event in Barbados. We're going to do it. And then I got to meet Tim the very first time. And when I met him, I remember I was a little bit hesitant because I heard about this guy, the guy with the mullet, and the attitude. It's like, wow. That's what I heard,
Talk
right?
about the attitude all you want, but the mullet.
Yeah. But I tell you, and he stepped in day one, and the rest is history from there on. And then I got meeting all you other guys. Like Craig, founded on knowledge. What I love about Craig when we're together, same with Jason, you guys got the like mind. You don't let me get away with anything because this is the way it is. And I love that about my instructors, my mentors. I get to look at all you guys to be here. This is big for me to be here with all of you that keep teaching me, right? Greg, what can I say? Like mine, Hapkido. I love it. I love it. And Chris just likes to beat me up and throw me on the floor because he likes to beat up old people. Just in case he beats old people up, Chris. So.
Bad
I
one.
love him. And like, you know, and my career basically started to move from meeting with Tim. Yeah, because I remember like Jay and Tim said the same thing, like, who's been teaching you this stuff? And I'm sure they both got stories they could talk about, but that's another show.
We don't want to go down that path right
No,
now.
but I just want to thank
I did
all
apologize. I
All
did
of
apologize. So I'm not going to say the name, but when I first saw Carl, he was Carl, for those who don't know anything about Canadian television, he was on a show that was the equivalent of Soul Train, but it was a Canadian version. So he's doing the angles of attack, and he's doing like a John Travolta type move back and forth. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And I've been a guest instructor a lot around Kempo guys, which is how that's not how I do it. Jason and I went on a lot of tours together, and I'm watching. And I used to hang out with Huck Polanis. And I remember Huck always saying to people, you know, they go, this is what you taught us. I go, no, that's what you think I taught you. And I channeled my inner Huck. I made the same comment. I go, there's no way he taught you that. You think he taught you that. No. And then we went to see the guy. He happened to be in town, and I had to apologize. I go, I'm so sorry, Carl. You were a very good student. You just had a poor example of what it was supposed to look like. And I refused to mention the name on the show. Okay. So anyways, so WMA in Canada, I mean, okay, so Jason's been around the longest. So we met through a guy named Paul Doughty in London, Ontario, part of Mike Donovan's Olympic karate. And then Jason and I just like clicked, and let me see here. We would go hang out with Dr. G in the middle of the woods. We would go. That was kind of scary. It was fun, but there may have been a deliverance moment or two there that we were a little. I don't know if this is looking right here, but we were armed, so we didn't care. I had a good blade. Then we went. Hey, I'm going to go to Germany. Want to come along? Sure, let's go to Sweden too. All right, let's do that. Next thing you know, we're in the Denmark Championships. And and we we get to Europe, we have plane tickets, but we have no other ways of getting from point A to point B to point C. I'm like, somehow we figured it out. Just kind of got lucked in and put it in the VIP package every now and then. I'm like, did you tell them we were coming? No, I didn't tell you we were coming. And it wasn't like, hey, we're looking for you guys. Why are they treating us so nice? I don't know. Just go with it. Okay, let's do that. Yep. But Jason and I have been around probably the longest of the group.
In that 3 weeks we took, we were on the Autobahn. We took a hydrofoil across the Baltic Sea. What else did we do? I think we took like 4 or 5 planes.
We took trains.
On the trains, yeah. We were on a high-speed train from Malmo to Norrköping.
Yep.
Then we got back to the States, and then Speakman canceled out on Mike Cappy, and I was just getting ready to drive home. And Tim said, hey, you feel like going to Philly? So I turned around and went back to the house, and we headed to Philadelphia. Now, my wife at the time wasn't overly happy, but, she got over it, and that's why she's an ex-wife.
She got over it because now she's the ex-wife. That's why she got
That's right.
She got over it.
I don't get any more of those. But that was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah. So
that's where I first met Dieter, and actually it was the last time I seen Professor. Actually, was in Germany.
So let me think.
And we corrupted some of Dieter's students too, as well.
No. But no. Time frame wise, you would have saw Remy and G last.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So Dr. G is doing a stretching thing. So Dr. G goes, Remy, do you mind if I warm them up? By all means. So he goes warming up, and he's doing this stretching thing. And then all of a sudden, this is one of the few times I saw Remy. This is the only person other than Wally J that I've seen Remy go on the floor for. So Remy teaches, and I don't see him participating in someone else's session unless it's Wally J or Dr. G. So he grabs Jason, come here, stretch me. I'm walking by, making sure everything's okay. Jason's got Remy's leg behind his head. I'm like, dude, he's got to teach. Don't break him. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Jason's trying
It's
to figure
funny.
out
I started off as
he's like, throw loonies at him or something, because he thinks he's in Canada.
yeah. Well, he had his leg up about 90 degrees, and because he was older, he's like, no, you could go more. So I go a little bit more, and he's like, no, stretch me. So I got his foot like over top of his shoulder, and it was impressive how flexible he was, actually.
Wow.
But of this group, Jason, the only person that besides myself, obviously, the only person that would have spent more time with Remy than Jason would be Tye. Remy got to see Jason quite a bit. He actually demonstrated how to do Anyo Isa as a competition for him.
Scared the hell out of him.
Jason has done it all. And the only thing he hasn't done is like the MMA world cage fighting type stuff. But I mean, he's done the karate, he's weapons, forms, fighting. We've done stick fighting together, in tournaments and outside of tournaments. And he can grapple, but I mean that he hasn't done that in sport, but he was a world-class competitor. And like, hey, Remy, and Jason's like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm like, hey, Remy, come here. Check this out. What's up? Anyo Dello with the kick and puts this huge kick up there. Like, and he's so small
funny.
and wiry. He's really fast. He's like really, really fast. I'm like,
Yeah,
that was a highlight. That was pretty funny.
So you've been in Canada. You've been around the longest of the active people. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
What changes have you noticed, or developments have you noticed over the years with the World Modern East Alliance, the organization, the system of, the delivery systems? What sticks out in your mind, seeing that? I mean, because when we start, 91, 92.
A little bit after that, I think it was about 94 when I started with you.
Obviously, well, I resigned in 2001, shortly before when professors. Actually, it was 2000. Professor announced his retirement from the organization, and I chose to resign as well because he was my teacher, and there wasn't that person that could fill that void. Which is it's not fair for anyone to do that, but there was no one left to mentor me, so I started doing my own thing. And I told all the guys, don't come with me, do your own thing. And then, of course, Jason's like, I'm with you. I got your back. I'm like, okay. And obviously a bunch of people, probably like 30 black belts left when I did. But Jason got the perspective of seeing me around Remy, the beginning of what we did all the way up to today. A lot of times Jason and I's paths go different ways, not because that we don't like each other. It's just that I'm traveling here, he's traveling there. We come back. Jason was working in Sweden for a few years, and it's one of these things. And every time we hang out together, it's like we saw each other 2 minutes. This loop could be a year, it could be a week, it could be several years, and it's just like picking up conversations we had a year or two ago, like it was yesterday. So,
exactly.
What would you say sticks out in your mind as far as the development of Canada with what we've been doing since your involvement?
Well, there was Donovan had the group that was Arnis. So when there was Olympic karate in London, my instructor Foster and Donovan were kind of partners in it. Foster met Parker, started training with Parker. Donovan didn't care for the way Parker was, but he also met Remy. And I remember when Professor walked into Foster's school, that was the first time I ever met Remy. I was young. I was probably maybe 17 years old at the time. Wow. And so I actually met him even before I met you. And then he really didn't do anything at Donovan's that I was part of, But then when they did the triple seminar, I was at that. And then I think I met you just after that. So I gravitated towards modern Arnis because of the way you taught it, because it had structure. Because at the time, I'd already had 2 years training in JKD in a sono blend through Hartzell's organization, where we did like pieces of Lameco, pieces of Illustrissimo, pieces of the Lacosta system. It was more applications, but there wasn't any real structure to it because of the guy that I trained with, Paul Irish, who's a phenomenal teacher and a great fighter. It's just we didn't have that structure on paper. And I think even the earliest of times when I met you, when you had the school up above, I don't know, by that train that was the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
I can't remember where that was, but anyhow, at that time, you had already had cards made up that were similar to the Kempo cards, like the Ed Parker cards. So I kind of took a gravitation towards that because it had a lot more structure. And in the beginning, I thought, okay, well, this seems like it's easier to learn because it was broken down so much. And then after so many years of doing modern Arnis now, people get a misconception that it's just the basics, and it is basics, but it's sophisticated basics when you stay with it longer, right? So same thing with Parker's Kempo, it seems really advanced at first, and then it gets even more complicated, and then the more you do it, it becomes less complicated. So it's just, I stuck with you because 1, our personalities matched, and 2, I like the way you taught. And I think I tell you almost every time I see you that you're using different vocabulary all the time. So your delivery systems have gotten so much better over the years. You're always a good teacher. It's just, it's a lot more refined than it was. But it should be.
Well,
After how many seminars have you taught?
Over 1,000.
A gazillion?
Yeah, but you've been with me a lot of those gazillions.
And I was actually really, really impressed the last time that I seen you handle the kids at Wallaceburg Martial Arts, because all the times that I've done seminars and camps with you, I really haven't seen you teach a lot of the kids, or I've been out helping with the kids. Whereas that one, you basically handled that whole group. I was actually impressed that time.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, and Jason, Jason is a world-class martial artist and world-class instructor as well. So I take this very seriously. It's not, I've seen the people that he's had the opportunity to train with. So, anyone that follows our teachings, not mine, it's Remy's teachings, it's just that I'm one of the people carrying it on. And actually, everyone on the show is helping us carry on to one extent or another. We're all Remy successors, whether it's a high-level black belt or the newest white belt, because, I know when Remy passed away, I did what everybody else did. I thought about myself, because that's what you do when you lose somebody. Shortly after, no, I didn't lose Remy. We lost Remy. Some people didn't have that same connection. That's fine. But, I looked at it and I heard all this stuff, and it's like, you know what? I don't care how good the leader is, because the leader, like in art, we're only good as the people that are with us. So that's why, my version of a rant here on the show, I know I got a lot of heat because some of the things I say, but I look at this. Okay, everyone who's watching the show, look at these 6 guys. These are 6 of the people that I hang with. Not all of them. This is 6 of them. I'm very happy with my company, and that's it. I'd rather sometimes, listen, here I get judged by my friends, and then you can also look and judge me by my enemies. And I think it's good either way. So these are the people I like hanging with. They've chosen to hang with me. Thanks for that support. And for those who are hearing things, you should come to one of our events and just get to know us personally and make your own decisions versus, trust what you hear, but verify everything. because
I think one of the
sometimes
other
people
things
have-
too. One of the other things too that that kept me training with you over the time is I seen you always be a student. So I mean, you paved a lot of pathways for us to train with the Dr. G or train with Ball Morty or train with these different masters, right? So basically, that was part of road tripping with you, but as well as even a lot of people don't realize that we would go to a Kempo camp and Dr. Tim wouldn't just teach his class and then sit and watch everybody. He would try to learn some of the techniques. And I mean, you know, when we're doing techniques on each other in a modern Arnis one, I'll dummy up for him and he can hit me hard. And, you know, that's part of the game. I said, but when we're in a Kempo class and he's being a student, that's when, you remember when we were at, I think it was at Cappy's or maybe it was Mal Morty's. And you just kind of looked at me and I went, we're not in an Arnis class this time. And we just started doing techniques on each other. That was fun.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
Because
I always just tell them, remember,
it was me and
I'm not pumped up.
it was me and Tim hanging out as martial artists,
Yeah.
not you being my teacher, right?
No.
It was just
Yeah.
us hanging and banging. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
That's one thing.
Those are some of the things that stick with me over the years. Same thing, all these guys that are on the panel right now, if you only train with people that you're better than, you're not going to become any better. So when I go out and do other systems, or I go up to Craig's and do his camp and show stuff that I've been working on or getting better at, and then he's coming down and we're all at Oliver's event and, you know, and he's doing his dog brother stuff, it makes us all better, right? So if we're not training with people that are going to push us, then you're not going to get any better. You have to take yourself out of your comfort zone for sure.
Absolutely.
That's what'll make you humble too.
Yeah. To the question that Tim posed to you originally about changes that we saw up here, to start with that, again, knowing you already know my history, Jason, because you see the people who taught me, right? So yeah, I came in to Donovan's. So started 2001 is when I started Arnis, and that was Donovan's. And then that got changed to the name changed to something else, and the Arnis kind of went a little ways.
That's when I met Paul. That's when I started training with Paul.
Dottie.
Yeah, I remember when you started with him.
Yeah. Okay. And then we switched over to the other person, and it even got worse. And this other person apparently was getting direct instructions from Professor Praces.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then training with all of you, and then you start seeing things like you say, training with the better person. How for me, martial arts, like I always say, I'm not, like I tell Tim this all the time, martial arts, I'm a fighter that's learning martial arts. Okay, because I can't say really martial arts because I grew up fighting, I fight. But how can you defeat a person if you don't know what they do? And in order to know what they do, you have to learn what they know. And who get it from? The best guys. Now, how can we complain when we got people like Datu, we got people like Dr. Tye there, we got Craig, like all you guys here have been around doing this for so long. But not only this, you know, and you see how it's done. Now, speaking about Tim, England in August, the same thing. We were in England, okay? 100% it was his show. But yet, when we were training Campo, he was on the floor training Campo with everybody else. The whole night was a Campo night, and he trained for how many hours we did doing Campo. And then he went, of course, did a show. I wish he was there talking about seeing him do a good show, doing a good seminar. Phenomenal. That was a phenomenal seminar in England. Things that you like. We see you see him doing something, but then he's really in his zone, and it's like, whoa, that's a little bit of something there that I didn't see before. That's pretty cool, right? And then it's like, wow, and everybody's like, I really like Arnis. You need a good instructor, right? You need a good instructor, like you said, someone who's better than you. And like,
I think a lot of times too is when if you see Datu teach a seminar, you're really not getting a feel for how good he is, because he can only show you up to the level that's able to handle the material.
Right.
Right. So there's
Right.
times when, we get him alone. It's not often, but when we can, like sometimes at Christmas time, I'd come down and we would work out for 3 or 4 hours and go over stuff. And I'm sure Craig's done that with them numerous times, but it's rare that we actually get his undivided attention because he's so busy doing everything. Right.
Yeah.
But when you do get a chance to cross sticks with them, or even empty hands or knife, whatever, then he has a chance to actually really work the material as well, because he's got someone of a higher skill set, not as good at the material as he is, but at least our skill set's high enough that he can start really like
and you
pulling the
can
stuff
see him,
off.
that's it. See him move. Exactly.
Right.
It's a difference.
Like
it's so different.
the thing you'll see him do all the time religiously is the sublig, right? Like, he's going to do that modified sublig at some point when you're doing it with him. It's just good luck trying to counter it.
Yeah. When him and Craig are together, they're doing the demos and stuff. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, the language that is spoken with the clarity and your understanding, it's not above your head. And
so before we go down this is not a Tim Hartman love fest.
No, but that's what
this is about what's going on in Canada. I really appreciate this.
No, we were just trying to give people some insight, though, if they don't get a chance to really.
I appreciate that.
Why we stuck with you after so long.
Yeah. I met Tye in Maryland.
Because you're all mental, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you didn't even pay them.
I know, but Tye also. Yeah, but you know what's so cool about this? So like Tim, he's the instructor. But when you're working with Tye, you got some kung fu in there. When you're doing your stuff, you see other elements with your Arnis. And then you look with Craig, the dog brother stuff. He knows all the wacky places to whack you. He can get in there and just whack the crap out of you every time. And then we got Chris. He brings the BJJ into Arnis, disarms and takes down. So we're getting a whole plate here. This is like a real good menu with dessert right here, as far as I'm concerned. And oh my goodness. And the man, the birdies, the locks. How can you go wrong, right?
Hey, he's a great practitioner, but he's even a better presenter.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just a mouth breather. That's the problem, right? That's the banjo in the background.
But anyone watching this, if you can come out on Saturday, you're going to see these guys. Like, come and see it for yourself, because you can hear us talk. But if you're on the floor watching them be them, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So, Tye, you know why I have more Canadian friends? So you know why I've got more Canadian friends.
Nice one, Workman.
Because the exchange rate's better.
It's almost like the old dating game.
I do it.
Yeah, but, you speak what you see, and being in Canada, you guys in the States, we are limited in a way of like how we've got 12, 14 provinces and the territories or whatever, comes up to about 14 or whatever. But how many compared to the States are really doing Arnis? Like more states are doing more than we are. Ontario, I think, is probably one of the bigger ones that's basically doing what we're doing.
London was a hotbed for a while, and then it cooled off. And I kept training, and then it got hot again, and then it cooled off a bit.
Yep.
And now we're staying pretty consistent just because of Brad and Tim and myself. And, to be honest, they're doing the majority of the teaching there. Mm-hmm. And then I go there to just train. And then whoever is my partner that night, they get extra information or extra training because that was the deal, right? So based on that, I try to work with Dean and some of the other guys, but I do spot check them and make sure, if they have a question, like the one day they were like, hey, could you teach the locks today? I said, sure. Right. So I don't mind teaching, but I don't go there specifically to teach. I go there to train. Wallaceburg's different because they've joined the association and they're getting the material, but it's going to be a long-term process because there's so many of them to
Yes.
try to get the students in line and get the systems in place. Like we have the paperwork, it's just getting them to become better teachers to pass the knowledge. Because I mean, you can only be in one place at a time, right? So,
yeah. So is
but,
it big up by you, Greg? The Arnis, is there a lot of clubs, or is this kind of like you?
Oh,
Greg.
for where I'm at, it's literally just me here, right? So you'll get a lot of guys up on base, right? So a lot of military up around here. They'll the PTK in Montreal, right? So a lot of them will pick up a little bit of this and that, but as it comes to any sort of Filipino martial arts, right? What's close to me that does Filipino martial arts? I think Action Martial
Ottawa.
Arts in Ottawa.
Oh, really?
yeah, probably Bob Carver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
So
handful.
there's-
Be about the only one.
And
Yeah,
by you,
that's-
Greg? Craig?
What's that? I'm basically Sudbury. When we were heading kind of more north, it's just me and Chris.
Okay.
I know there's
Yeah.
a gentleman up in Timmins, but he focuses more on the MMA, and he did do Pikiti Tertia with Philip Jelinas. But when it comes to Arnis, like there's a few schools that do, Arnie, Cali drills,
Yeah.
stick drills, just part of what they do. But in terms of an actual program, it's just Chris and I up north.
I'm gonna start looking see how many provinces up here doing
You
this.
got
and I'm
Coos
gonna-
way up north.
Yeah, when I can get a hold of the bugger, every time I get a message of him, he's out and about. He's, you know what? He's got his fishing and he's got his grandkids, and
Greg
Yep.
is-
I know because I know we keep on messaging.
Basically, Craig is expanding the north, and then I've been trying to expand the south.
Yeah.
Really.
And that's been a good teamwork too.
There we go.
Matt wants to know. Here we go, Ty. Would Northern Mantis complement modern Arnis?
No, it would never work. No, these guys will tell you whenever they're playing with me. Usually, I say something and I make it all come back to our Mantis, and it works. Anyway, it complements it really, really well, I think. And you can do it without breaking either set of rules. But that's my take.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Ty always says it's all Mantis.
That's right.
It's all back to
All Kempo.
It's
all Kempo.
whatever.
It's
That's
all
what you said in England, right?
Yeah. So,
It's all tempo.
So let's do this because we could go on forever, and I'm not ending the show, but I want to make sure we do some productive stuff.
Yep.
So, what each of the people here, one at a time, what do you think has been the biggest achievement of the WMA as a whole for Canada, and what has been your biggest personal achievement in modern Arnis for the WMA? And it could be the same thing. But let's start off with Craig because he's on the top of my screen.
So I think the biggest achievement for me, actually being the first school, actually in Ontario and in Canada, first certified school. And I'm not just talking about a training group. I was actually the first certified school in Canada under Datu. Met him.
Let me state this for everybody.
Yep.
So Craig came from another art, as 95+% of most modern Arnis people in North America. And he's decided to teach Praxis Arnis as a standalone program, not as the art within your art, which is nothing wrong with that because it's all modern Arnis. We've talked about that.
Yep.
But when you do the art within your art, you're only doing part of the art. You're not doing the entire art. Craig decided to turn his school into a full-time Praxis school.
Yep. And then just focusing on expanding the art. That's the big thing. And seen a lot of changes. Like I got my first intro actually was in '99. And I got to see Tim, Jason was there, Mark Benez, Paul Dowdy.
Everybody was there.
Yeah, everybody was there. And of course, I didn't know anybody back then. And then all of a sudden, years later, I pull out the picture and it's like, holy mac, I didn't realize all that many people were actually there. And it was just, and it was one of those things that it just happened. My first exposure to FMA was in '96, and then Black Belt magazine advertised Remy. Remy was in Toronto. I gotta go. And then Paul Dowdy is who I reached out to and started doing some training with him. Tim was up there on a regular basis doing when he was doing his Money Dagger program, and then a few years later, that's when I started training full time. And the rest is history. It's just continuing expanding, continually, promoting the art across Canada as best we can.
Cool. And so that's your okay, so that's your personal achievement as well as the organization's.
Yep.
Good. Mr. Workman.
Well, I'd say my personal achievement with this would be the first ever FMA school in North Bay.
Yeah.
So in the area, opening it this year. We've had the training. We started with the training group in 2015. Shortly after Craig and I started hanging out, and we were cross training. I was teaching Craig Shirinkin Jiu-Jitsu, and he was teaching me Prasis Arnis. And then we started integrating the modern system into the Shirinkin Jiu-Jitsu, and that was back in 2015. But to actually, post COVID, and one thing I really thought of during COVID was solidifying that, was having a full Prasis Arnis system being the core of what I'm doing with Northern Tsunami Studio. Like, I still teach a Shirinkin Jiu-Jitsu program with integrated modern Arnis as always part of the curriculum. And I do that at the Indigenous Friendship Center, and I've been teaching at the Indigenous Center for 10 years now. And with that, I really wanted to break it off and do that. And, just the adoption of this, I started it off, I wanted something different. I also wanted something niche. I wanted to have smaller focus groups. I wanted to keep them in more of a personal training format. So I only bring in 6 clients at a time. But I have multiple clients, and to be honest with it, it's been sold out since I opened. So more people, are getting on the waiting list, more people becoming more involved. Then the Pen and Toucan, actually recently bringing that as a standalone class has really recepted well. The moment I put it up, it filled up. It was done. It was full. So going to our instructors camp in the fall, going through the new curriculum, taking that and saying, okay, we're gonna set a good base here, and in a couple of years, I want to bring a good solid crew to solidify the program that Datu's put together. So, and the camaraderie, just all of us coming together, we at our camps, and that it's I find the biggest thing, and I've been in martial arts 32 years. I can tell you this organization develops its instructors not only in the art, but in networking, in advertising, and how to run your martial business. The organization brings in decorated instructors and business owners from across the U.S. And we come to these camps, and you really take away a lot. There's a lot more value added in this organization. You go to one instructor's camp in this organization, you come back with a sense of how you're going to improve your business, how you're going to improve your art, and how you're going to grow your network. And that alone pays dividends to the future of being able to grow this art. So I just look forward to what's coming up next. I'm actually a little heartbroken because I can't make it down to the camp in Cambridge this weekend. I was looking forward to it. Just being a single dad, I got my boys this weekend, and it's just the way it worked out. But Carl, I will come see you.
No worries, brother.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm planning on.
You'll be missed, brother.
Yeah.
And it's but I always know we have more camps. Like
we will have more camps.
You go to the listing, we see everything that's going on. We'll be able to hop on the weekend for the triple threat and set up some media in there. See if I can get a few of the clients in as well to enjoy that. Let them, because all through COVID, if it wasn't for Datu putting together all of the training camps and all of the virtual training, it kept us connected. Like where we were shut down up here. Oh, we were all shut down.
You were getting shut down every other week too. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're open, now we're shut. We're open, now we're shut.
Yeah, and we had like zones up here. Did you guys have zones? Because it was like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had it, but in New York, but Emperor Cuomo was gone, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I think I was in the zone 11, and Craig was 12. And I thought, eventually, if we have to fight each other, I'm taking him to the ground because the guy's way too dangerous on his feet.
Yeah, you need a shotgun.
Anyway, that's my spiel.
Mr. Oh, there we go. Love you long time. That's nice. That's really nice.
I'm trying to.
I got you. Mr. Hiltz.
All right. So my biggest win since joining the organization is probably just having both an adult and kids class, right? Like dedicated to Arnis, filled, right? Everyone's having a great time. The kids having fun. The adults are dedicated, are willing to take a few blows. People are willing to spar, and people are doing it on their own time outside of class. So for me, right, in my crazy quasi-retired world, that's all I want to do is just have everyone come together, have fun, and just keep doing it. Right? That's probably been the biggest win for me because that's all I'm in this for. Right? Is just having a good time, spreading the art.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what that's what I found with it. I was welcome right from the get-go. So I remember going down to Dot right after. It was actually when Bryson Ingram had his opening in London, and I went to that grand opening, and I said I want to come down to train in Buffalo to train. He said, "Yep," and I stayed at his place. Got molested by his dogs. Oh my! With the
and they tried to eat
Thorn Loki.
Thorn Loki.
Yeah, Thorn Loki, and I was welcome right from the get-go. And that sold me right off the bat. It's just that welcoming attitude, and anybody that you see as part of this organization, the network, we keep on talking about. Of course, everybody leads these crazy busy lives that we lead, but it's always okay. When are we going to get together just to train? We talk about that all the time, and it's just trying to set up those times that everybody's got a free moment.
Well, the thing I try to do with the organization here, and this is it. I learned this from business associations as well. Martial artists, we don't go into this thinking we're going to own a school. Yeah. None of us did, but for one reason or another, you end up ahead of your own group, training group, program, maybe school. And here's the thing. Your students could want the exact same thing. And if we don't offer them those opportunities, what can happen? People can quit, start their own club, and where are they going to get their students from? They're going to cannibalize yours because they don't know any better. Yeah. With all the competition out there, if our art is going to survive, we need to be able to offer things, which is why I put the business aspect in our training and make sure that we talk about this. I go, hey, guys, we're all going to go through this. People are going to want to do this. So the best thing to do is help them, be partners in it with them. So like if we're from a business point of view, whether I'm talking to you or any of the guys that are watching this, you got students that want to teach. Well, then what you do is you say, hey, you talk to them. Would you ever want to have a school someday? Great. And then you help find them a school outside the territory of where you would be. And I don't want to say territory, but you want it far enough away, establish their own clientele, win, lose, or draw. If you guys separate, they've got their clientele and you got your clientele, and it makes things easier. We could do a chain of schools in the same name, or you could sit there and say, hey, no, we're just a network, like our alliance, say, hey, no, you have your name school, I have my name school, and we're part of the World Modern Arnis Alliance, as a lack of a better term, HMA, Horizon Martial Arts, that's my school. And one of my guys opened up his own school, George. And we talked about he could be Horizon Martial Arts North. I wasn't going to ask anything. Or, hey, here we do. You have your own name, which he chose. And you're part of the HMA Alliance, because then you're going to have that joint branding in the area and still have that individuality. And a lot of stuff, we could use a lot of the same equipment and have better buying power together. And that's the kind of things that we talk about. And a lot of things are overlooked. And that's why you look and say, who's here? Who's gone? And there's a lot of people, like you look at, I'm the tortoise, slow and steady, right? How many people have we seen pop up in Black Belt Magazine that even got covers, and then you mention their name, like, who are you talking about? A lot of that was because Black Belt used to be in California, so it was easy to get in front of their lens. But a lot of these guys didn't have this longevity. And I don't want to mention any names because I don't want to take a shot at anybody. Oh, and Greg's back. You changed place. They put you over on the other side of the screen.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
Oh, you know what? He wants
in Deep River. It's like the Twilight Zone there.
Yeah, it's that Starlink internet. That's what it is. There's a cloud moving.
Uh-oh. So this is why I put those things in there, because you know what? If we are going to survive, and people hear me talk about business all the time, listen, churches close down. Non-for-profit entities close because there's no one running the books. You need someone to pay the bills. Even here's a little thing. You don't want to do fundraising. You want to do fundraising. Tye just did his Wounded Warrior event. How did you collect money, Tye?
I didn't collect it. No, I gave him 2 different links: the Facebook one, and that goes straight to the Wounded Warrior Project, and then also the direct Wounded Warrior Project, depending on which people like that.
Because if you collect the money, then the IRS gets involved, doesn't it?
No, that's not why. But yeah.
I'm not saying that. But I mean, the thing here is we started talking about this, and we've done a couple fundraisers for people, or you've done a couple fundraisers for people, and that became a thing. Not that people were coming after you, but you started doing a little research to go, hey, wait a minute, I got to be careful about this. I want to do it the right way.
Yeah, it goes through some third, separate entity, and then it's all handled. There's no accusations of middleman, so then there's no. That's nice.
Someone sets up a GoFundMe for somebody to help them out. Well, the person that sets up that GoFundMe is now responsible for those tax implications. So I mean, there's a lot of different things, and that's why that's part of what we do, because we could just be doing something nice and honest, looking to do something, or just non-for-profit, and all of a sudden something goes sideways because we weren't thinking about it. And that's why I think it's very important to do this. So let's do this before we have Mr. Jason pop in here. Last time I was in Canada, a moose tried to attack me. Thank goodness for the bear that stopped it. Okay, there we go.
Well, you're welcome.
Michigan and Canada are the worst COVID lockdowns. I don't know. New York was pretty bad for a while. I know people who flew to Texas, and once they got there, they said, "You're from New York. You have to go in isolation immediately." I'm like, let me see. What if someone was horizontal vertical martial arts? Okay, well, that's a different kind of show, and you might have to. That could be a fans only fans page, but OMG, the Brady Bunch. Okay, Matt, that was funny. He's got us the Brady Bunch. Okay, of all your comments today, that's the one I'm sharing because that was actually funny.
Yeah.
Not offensive and funny. So, Jason, what your personal and what you think the WMA has done best, the thing that sticks out the most in your mind, what they've done in Canada?
I think in Canada, like I said, we were a hot spot for a while and then it cooled off. I think once I would say probably Craig was really starting to get his feet into it. He helped keep the glue together for sure. And then just kind of progressed, because I've always been somewhat of a gypsy, as you guys know. And not that I ever left the art. It's just sometimes you won't see me for a while because I'm off doing whatever. And with Carl as well, when he started hooking up with our organization, on a more regular basis. You guys were seeing each other more, which gave us the opportunity to see you more. So, I mean, in the earlier days, it was basically Donovan was bringing you up, and then maybe Dottie, and then I started bringing you up, and then with you staying at my house and whatnot, I got to see you a bit. But then as more people started being associated, you were starting to come up more. So it kind of died off a little bit, but it's definitely kept its momentum now. And then especially with Wallaceburg hopping on, we'll have you in even again. So, I mean, we're going to see you more based on your schedule. And the nice thing is too, that, you know, with Craig and myself and Carl, basically, you know, we have our own groups, and then Chris's guys are, you know, your group's starting to grow, and you got Craig's group as well. I mean, we have our own little group outside of even you coming up doing stuff. So last time I didn't hit Craig's camp last time because of work, but the time before that we had a great camp. It was phenomenal. We had a great time, and everybody was training. The only thing I wish that we did at the headquarters camp is that we set some time aside where all of us instructors actually worked out with each other. That's the only thing that I regret, because we get so many members in there, and then we get a chance to cross paths with some of each other's students, but actually like getting a chance to work the material.
Well,
So,
guess what's going to happen at the next camp?
We just have to make an effort to do it. That's all. Like, I mean, Brad's in my town. I see him teach, and I have to book a time where we can actually work out, you know, and he's one of my best buddies. So it's kind of, it's tough sometimes. My personal stuff, there's been a lot of times just because, you know, I've been with you for almost 3 decades now. So I would say from a personal standpoint, outside of being with you guys, is when I introduced Modern Arnis to my personal training clients. For one, I wanted to be paid for having training partners. For two, I wanted to make sure I made a decent wage during the day when martial arts schools were closed. So basically, I started my Therapy Tuesdays, which was all Modern Arnis against heavy bags, against, you know, heavy bags on the ground, doing strikes downward, doing the figure eights, just any of the basics. I could put a stick in somebody's hand, and, you know, when you get a lot of the females in class, it's probably 60-70% female. You would swear they're picturing their husbands' heads when they were swinging that stick. And I didn't care. That's why I called it Therapy Tuesdays. So I didn't call it stick fighting. I didn't call it Arnis class. It was just therapy class. And then they all learned Modern Arnis while they were doing it. I think that was probably one of the bigger accomplishments, because I could see people that didn't have any desire to do martial arts. They just wanted to come to a boot camp, and then all of a sudden, like I was talking to Craig about it numerous times when we would meet up. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm doing this, you know, I implement this." And then he would tell me what he's doing. And, you know, he could tell you the same thing. His boot camps probably increased, the quality of the workouts increased by adding that, because not only were they getting exercise, anybody can teach you how to squat, anybody can teach you how to do a curl, but you want to have exercise with a purpose. I'll give you an example. I was training a personal training client, and I had them doing lunges over and over and over. And they're like, "Why do you have me do so many lunges?" And I'm like, "Well, because it's realistic movement." And they're like, "Well, how do you figure?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take this stick and I'm going to swing it at your head. Let's see what you do." And sure enough, they did a lunge to get out of the way. And I said, "There you go. Exercise with a purpose." So when people come and train with me, I would say, we're going to do Arnis because it's easier on your body. Kempo, you kick the crap out of each other. It's hard on your body. You have to put the brakes on so you're not penetrating in the strikes. With the sticks, you can hit the sticks against each other. You got right hand, left hand coordination. Helps with Alzheimer's. There's just so many benefits to doing right side, left side right after each other, right? So, I mean, like, look at the amount of reps you can get in with Sinawali compared to doing 5 swords. It's the same move,
Yeah.
But when one guy throws a punch and the other guy does the technique, and then it's the other guy's turn. Whereas when we're doing it, continuous against each other, you'll get 10-to-1 ratio in the reps. So, I mean, I think I would say my biggest success was being able to take people that didn't know anything or didn't even have a desire to do it and get them interested in it. So whether they liked it or not, they were still interested. And when I brought it across as a Therapy Tuesdays, they still talk about it at the gym that I haven't been at in 6 years. And I get a message every now and then, hey, do you want to start doing your classes again? And I'm like, I'm too busy, but you never know. We'll see what the new location holds. Because I'll have about 3,000 square feet. I was considering starting to teach again, just part-time. But I'll never have a full-time studio again. Same thing in my Kempo. I basically said to everybody that I work out with is I'm around to teach teachers how to become better teachers. So I'm trying to show them how to look for those little, 12, 15-year-olds that they can start showing promise in making them a good teacher as an assistant instructor. Just the same thing you've done with Ryan and a lot of the kids that you started to work with. I'm sure, Craig, same thing, right? Because as the group grows, you're going to need the help. You can't do everything on your own. It just doesn't happen. Not if you're going to grow that much, especially if you want to do it as an actual full-time profession.
Yeah.
And my suggestion, if you're going to do a martial arts school full-time, but you're just starting out and you got to build the numbers and stuff, start doing personal training and adding in the Arnis, and you will start to get the retirees, the people, if you start explaining to them that they're getting full range of motion with the techniques, try to look at it from more of a fitness standpoint as opposed to a fighting standpoint. Because not everybody wants to be a fighter, and not everybody's going to be a fighter, but everybody can do martial arts, and everybody can do the sticks and coordination, and it's just the repetitiveness that I find that people can become better faster. It takes a long time to become really good at Kung Fu, Tempo, Shorin-Ryu, those type of systems. It's very hard to get to that high level. I find Filipino martial arts, you can become pretty proficient as looking like you could do the mechanics and not have to worry so much about, I got to remember what the name of this is. And I mean, figure 8 up, figure 8 down, bandi bandi, rampita. It's easy. You don't have to say technique number 35 in brown belt. So that would be my suggestion, and that's probably my biggest accomplishment, I would say, outside of me personally, my accomplishments. I mean, I've had a lot of awesome moments in martial arts that have been FMA related for sure, but nowadays time's really precious. And when I come to the camps and stuff, I do it mostly to work out with my brothers, all you guys, see everybody like a family reunion. Because I mean, as far as really good training, if I want to do Pontotook, I'll hook up with Fowler and he has no problem punching me in the face for real. So I mean, if I want to get training, I could get training in my own backyard. But it's nice to get punched by somebody other than him. So but the thing about the WMMA though, it's just our bond, like I taught at another camp from a different branch of modern Arnis, and I was treated well, and it was a good vibe, but it's still not home. You know what I mean? So, and I told them, I was like, I appreciate you guys being nice to me and welcoming me, and because of our relationship with the whole family, not just with Datu, right? Because people know Ty, people know Chad, people know Craig. I can go to different groups, and once we get on the floor, they see the quality of our training anyways. Yeah. So
absolutely.
And that's the main thing. Like, I could sit there and talk about it all day long, but honestly, if you haven't been to one of our camps, just show up and, you know, put in a good effort and have a good attitude, and you'll have a great time, and you'll meet a lot of really cool guys. And I have an open door policy. If anybody wants to come to Southern Ontario and work out or need a place to work out, if I don't have a place, I can find a place in a heartbeat. So, you know, obviously with you guys, you have an open door policy too with me.
Good.
All right.
But other than that, I think that's pretty much it.
So our last on the list, Mr. Outram. So what has been your greatest personal achievement in mountain racing Canada, and what do you think the WMA's big achievement is in Canada?
Well, let's start with the WMA biggest achievement. Being, again, a newbie, really, because, again, I started in, 2001, just probably a few years before you, Craig, but you were more invested, where I was all over the place. But the biggest achievement I see now, and it's Canada, Ontario, that we're finally getting to see more of you. We have now more, I would say, credible Canadian instructors now that can really give you the goods. And I can say this, and you can understand this, both Jay and you, Tim, from seeing where I came from to where I'm at now, because I'm looking at Craig, I'm looking at Ty, I'm looking at Jay, yourself. From where I come from now, I can see that it's now, if you're looking for Arnis in Canada, you're really going to get good Arnis in Canada. So I think that's one of the better achievements that I've seen in my little time. Okay, we've got lots of, like Jay said, there's lots of different ones out there. And for me, seeing that with all the help from all of you people, I got to mingle with other in the FMA field. And when I show videos of any of you guys or here with some other people and goes, oh, that guy's good, and I get to say, oh, that's one of our guys. He's with WMA. He's with us. He's one of our guys. And that's like, okay, wow. So that's what I see for the achievement myself. For me, something that what Jason said, it's like mine to that. Teaching autistic children Arnis. And Tim did it with 60 kids at one time. He had 60 of them looking at him. And he can attest to what it was like. So my spectrum is teaching autistic. I like to teach kids with autism of all spectrum and to see them. And like you say, Jay, it teaches them motion, how to use left and right and use their brains in the left and right. And they're more interested to learn Arnis than karate. For some reason, they want to learn Arnis. They want to basic trapping hands. They love trapping hands.
You know, always.
You know, exactly. They love it. So to see people, we can't teach autistic kids, but when I see them over, I goes, okay. They can be taught. And to see them do it, sometimes better than me, that's awesome. That's what I like about it. That's my achievement, I think. And that's it.
Cool. Ty, what do you got for us?
Hey, so I don't know too much about Canada. However, meeting these guys has been great, and working out with them has been great. I remember going up to Craig's for his camp there. I don't know if it was an early one, and that was great to be part of that.
The very first one.
Okay, it was great to be part of that, so I'm looking forward to doing it again. But I had a great time, and seeing you in your element with your team and your folk, your people, right? It's good, solid stuff. I love the attitude. I love the training, the commitment, and their development, right? They were loving their development. So it's just like anywhere else. And there's a sense of brotherhood that it spans the distance. It doesn't matter. And that was very apparent. So that would be what I'd say was a great achievement, at least from an outsider's point of view. Still family. There you go.
Nice.
Cool.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Datu, when I had you up at my place, I think that was the first time you ever done a grading outside of the main school. And then you started doing them while you were on tours.
It was the first one we did in Canada. I've done some gradings in the past, but we didn't do a mass grading like that. I mean, but that was a camp as well. So it was, So
You can add Barbados to that for grading.
for me as the head of the organization, I think my biggest success for the organization is finding a good team of people and that have kept the art going. We look at this right now. We've got Sudbury, we've got North Bay, we've got Deep River, we've got Cambridge, we've got London and Wallaceburg. So we got 6 clubs in Ontario. And I use the club in a generic sense. And hello, Elizabeth.
Soon to be Ridgetown.
Hey, let's.
Oh, sorry, what?
Ridgetown.
I said soon to be Ridgetown.
Ridgetown. Okay, but we got 6 now, and we're going
It's
to keep
just been one
expanding.
province, right? What about the other provinces?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing here is actually when it comes to we have the biggest presence in Canada right now, period. And Ontario, we're very WMA centric. We're not the only ones. Brian John is teaching up in Oshawa.
Yeah.
I was talking to Peter Mitchell. He's working on getting his black belt. He's teaching Tabuada Balinswalk. Looks like the first weekend of June, Bobby Tabuada will be up in Toronto. So keep that in your calendars. Once he confirms that with me, I'll make sure you guys know. But Canada has been a pain in the butt. It's a huge pain. Well, no, the thing here is it's a foreign country. Even though I always joke about it being the 51st state, and the U.S. is like the extra province for Canada, the way both sides look at each other. Because look, we use same money, it's different color, different value, but I mean it's the dollar, U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar. What you buy in the United States for $1, the Canadian dollar buyer buys the equivalent inside the Canadian borders. Now, the rules of the road are fairly similar. Miles versus kilometer, no big deal. The speedometers usually have most of that, or you hit a button and switches it over. Same rules, very similar rules to the road, except where the speed limit is a cap in the United States, it's a minimum speed in Canada. So when it says 110 kilometers, that means if you go any slower, you will be a speed bump. So, but I mean, the countries are there's a parallel between the two countries. The problem's always been is we've never had any long-term traction. Mike Donovan had stuff going on because he was an American that moved up there.
Yeah.
But
Philly.
Jason, having been around the longest of you guys from Canada, we've seen all these programs fade away. Not to lack of effort on our end to help them. It's just things happen. We're not going to get into it because each one is a case-by-case thing. But now I really feel that we've got some traction, and my goal and here's the thing. There's Canadian camps that are happening that I'm not part of. Okay. This is where my goal was to be. I don't want a country to have me in because they need me. I want a country to have me in because they want me. And there's a difference. If you wanted Modern Arnis, you had Remy. Now, Remy wanted me to go into Canada. There's a bunch of reasons why. I'm literally 10 minutes from the border. So he wanted me to help get things going, organize it. It was easier for me and than it was for him, especially with this side. Because he tried to have people have their own little areas and territories and stuff like that. And I'm not saying no one else could be in that territory, but he's like, hey, no, I want you to go in here and really do well. And he wanted to see success for his students. And he understood it. If I got 5 schools in Canada going, even though they were through me, they were through him as well. And the people I recruit would go to events to promote that. Jason will tell you at the Michigan summer camp, we all wore the one shirt the one day, the white Buffalo shirt, where it says Buffalo Arnis does not play well with others.
Yep.
So it was my school and all the affiliates, for lack of a better term. It was our network. It was our clique, but it was our little nucleus that we worked together to say, hey, like Steve Scott from Indiana would say, hey, when he couldn't make it, say, you find Hartman. Paul John, that's how he hooked up with us. His teacher, Ted Reddish, says, are you going to camp? Look for Tim Hartman. And there's, Tim Murray would tell his guys, come and talk to me. And all of the London crew, they knew that I was the guy to hang out with because, we all knew each other. And we all wore the shirt the one day. It was probably a third to half of the camp was all white shirts. And Remy walked in like, what the hell's going on here? And
it's an invasion.
Yeah, well, it was good. But the thing here is I had my own network. I had my old apprentices. I had my own little group like that. And some people worked directly with Remy, but when they weren't around Remy, they hung with me. And they all supported Remy. And that was the whole thing. Get a good team, because my mindset was get us all better because Remy has more to show. Jason and I were in Germany. Tickets were lost, and we're sitting, and we corrupted a German. That was the fun part. Bila, we definitely got him. Yeah. Although he tried to corrupt us too, but that's a different story. We're watching. I'm like, Jason. I go, Jason, he's getting faster. He goes, oh my God, Remy is faster. And then later I'm like, he's not faster. What do you mean? He's faster. Nope. We got faster. So he didn't have to dial it down as much as he normally was. The thing is, when you see a lot of these guys that are at that level, and you think they're getting faster, it's probably not them, it's their partner. So their partner can actually probably handle the higher level energy they can give down. I wanted to see the best of Remy Praces, and to do that, we had to be the best of ourselves, and we unfortunately didn't have the time to get there.
Then remember when he's going right-handed, when you switched to left, then you knew you were getting better.
At one time. And then it became par for the course, and I got when the left on right tappy came out, I thought it was cool, and I got bummed because I remember when he would go left-handed with me, that meant I was okay. Now it's like it's par for the course. Yes, we know Canada calls that. Actually, no, they call Thanksgiving, but they call it's their Columbus Day. That was the earlier conversation there, Mr. Rodent. Rodent Dangerfield. Okay, so Ty, do you have anything to add to the whole thing or questions for these guys before we start wrapping things up?
Yeah, no, that was a good overarching question because then it could just go anywhere. I didn't really have anything that didn't cover. I asked my questions at the beginning, I guess. So,
yeah.
Okay.
You guys, do they have anything they just want that's unrelated? Maybe.
You got something you want to tell us?
Yeah.
Everyone else go, guys.
Anybody?
I'll just mute everybody so they can't say anything to me.
There you go.
Listen,
So
if you want to know what's going on in the org, you go to worldmodernist.com or wmodernist.com. The only thing that's not up on the site that it's my responsibility I haven't done yet because they haven't given me all the information yet. I got to get the Wallsburg School up there. I will put that up there. And then we'll just fill in the blanks. I have some basic contact information. I'll get the rest later. But listen, go there for
Instructor
website.
profiles too,
these
right?
guys get me their events up. It'll be on the website. Oh, Carl, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When you forwarded the guys the URL, how did you get that URL? I think that's the problem with all that information. When they tried to sign up and all your contact information was in there?
Yeah, I don't know. I just shared that site, and everybody was saying like every time I go to buy a ticket, your stuff's in there. I
think because you're not taking the URL from you went to the site and then copied the URL and went from there.
Brother, you're talking to a guy who has no computer knowledge. URL, you're really lousy. What's that? What are you telling me? I have no idea. That's
anybody context you?
Okay.
I'm really lousy at this stuff. That's my URL. Right?
The URL is the address.
Yeah, my kids help me with computers, so I know how to turn it on and I can do legal forms, but going all this videos and this stuff and that's a 2-day job.
Carl used to carry a pocket abacus. It was known as a BlackBerry.
BlackBerry.
I had a BlackBerry. You know,
I had
when was
I
young and-
still
Actually,
have
you know-
several blackberries.
Speaking of the
Could you-
T-shirt thing,
Yes.
Okay, well,
I was saying, speaking of the T-shirt thing, remember when Craig, when we were at the DL conference, when we
That's
all
right.
came in with our shirts on? That
Oh,
was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we stood out.
Because there
pretty
was
good
like
there.
300 people in the room, and there was us. I think there was 5 of us, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
it was Carl and Ryan and Datu and you
Yeah.
and me.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
then
think
Chad
that's it.
showed up
Oh.
and he had a little logo too.
OCC.
Yeah. So yeah, there was 300 DL guys,
Yeah,
Defense Lab, and then
Black
there
and
was
green.
us. And you
And
can
then
see
there was
our
us.
black shirts with the red bulls.
that's
That
right.
was
Yeah,
that was very cool.
I got
that was
pictures.
really
I still got
cool.
those pics. Yeah,
We've
So
seen that even when we went to Atlantic City. We
yeah.
all, yeah.
So
What's
it's
the
a
difference?
side thing. It's not part of this conversation, guys. But
Yeah.
for
But one
those
of
who are
one of the other things too, I just wanted to say for myself, for the WMAA seminars around the world, because I guess most of my journeys are overseas or different continents. Seeing this being taught to people who are doing other arts in different countries and have their own take on it, and to see the wow system or the wow on their face when they're seeing what we're doing. So that for me, the achievement that's huge. You know, even somebody's doing Kempo in Iceland, doing it different than we're doing Arnis differently, but it's like, wow. So and the Venezuelans doing Arnis, that was pretty cool too, to see that coming from North America in itself. I mean, for us going there to see that, so that's an achievement for me from Canada, seeing it around the world. So that's huge.
So right here,
Well,
if you
I'll tell
go
you,
to, oh, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Tim.
Let me get this real quick. So if you're thinking about coming to camp this weekend, if you go to the World Martial Alliance, here's the Canadian camp thing, and you'll notice, Carl, none of your information's in there, by the way. No,
Yeah, I've got that one as well.
that's the one. This is the one.
Yeah, and there's another
Nice.
one.
This is how you sign up. Well, the other one is this is when you go to the payment page. The other is the probably the Facebook announcement.
All
So
right.
if anyone's interested in that, there's the spring camp. If you're interested, give me a holler on that. So Tim Dobson asked how to become an affiliate. So there's a couple ways of doing that. You know, it's real simple. Talk to one of these guys. If you're looking if you're talking about officially making a member school and stuff like that, just talk to me about that. It's not a big deal. It's there's a link you can pay on that. And, we'll get you listed.
Tim
up
should
there.
have years ago. He's been to a ton of our events.
I
know
know. Really?
Exactly.
He has. But
He has.
I mean, I actually, come to the dark side.
He's still a brother.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, your face could have been up here too. Although I've seen your face before in the post office. There's numbers underneath it. There's a dollar value, but with the exchange rate, it was like even money. So, but if you're thinking about doing the camp, by all means. But here's what we're talking about. I have always a big thing about we should have an image. We should always wear team colors. You know, and you go to a bunch of martial art events lately, especially the Filipino martial art events. If you didn't see them working out, you'd think they were doing CrossFit or something. Just there's no consistency. So we got the bull shirts, which is this. Oh wait, wrong side. This bull, but it's a full T-shirt. And it's got the Praise Arnis logo on the back. And we're walking down. We're at the Atlantic City convention, and like just 4 guys walking, and all of a sudden, I think it was Ty and I were at the table. We're talking to Rich. I'm like, look at that. What? Holy shit. Look, they stick right out. I go, exactly, because it was a team. Then we're at the Defense Lab conference. So everyone's wearing black with green. And there's 5 of us with black and red. People started coming over. Those are cool shirts. Who are you guys? Because you stand out. But it wasn't that we were different. We were a different unit, and it was a unit. We all looked the part. And, if you want to be treated with respect, you got to do a good presentation. So I've got my bull on tonight. Craig and Chris have 2 similar but different apparel with our logos. And then the rest of the guys are dressed like slobs. But that's okay. It's all right.
Wear a hoodie
Some
because I'm
people were coming
cold.
from. See, I don't know why Carl didn't have a uniform because he was coming right from class, and then
I
know,
got
Greg,
changed before he came home.
I'm happy Greg's wearing clothes, so I'm not asking to go out there.
There you go.
And usually Ty is wearing some kind of martial apparel. Get to shout out to somebody.
What is this? What is this? I got a silhouette of me doing a stump kick. Like if you look real fucking close, because it's actually me. The little banum doesn't have any toes.
Okay, all right. So if for those who don't know, Greg lost part of his.
Hey, I've been
foot
behaving
in the
myself. I'm good.
We're trying to find it to give it back, but we can't. So it's all about the stump. I'm just telling you, he won't jam his toes when he kicks you, so he can kick you extra hard. So
I'll give you a stump stink.
and he was, and the thing is, like, oh, that's cruel to talk about. It's cruel to talk about. I'm like, no, he's the one that tells us, so it's fair game.
So after your training,
yeah, of course, we don't forget the exchange.
Yeah.
So I want to thank all you guys for being on the show. I want to thank everyone for putting up with us for the show.
This was fun.
But no, I mean,
we were pretty tame. We were pretty tame tonight.
Yeah, but it was a little.
I would say.
I mean, listen, this was a proof of concept. I didn't know how it would be having, 7 people on the show. This is the biggest show I've had,
Especially these personalities.
And I'm thinking,
Quite the
this
team.
is gonna be the first time we've done this. It probably be the last time we do this. Well, we're gonna do some multi-person ones. I want to do one about in the new year about international travels. So definitely like touring, so Jason, I'd love to have you on that one because you and I have done that a bunch of times. Carl, obviously, and then Craig, the three of you guys have traveled, and obviously Ty because he's part of the show. But I mean, the 3 of you have traveled doing martial arts with me consistently, and Jason's been around a lot of the fun stories. Actually, all the stories that we have, one of the 3 of you guys has been around for. So,
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I remember that. Yep. But with you 3 guys, we easily have a whole bunch of interesting stories that not everything that happens in the Philippines or Europe or whatever actually stays over there. And by the way, for those who go to Vegas and you say whatever happens in Vegas stays there, nope, it usually follows you home 9 months later. Or right away, and the shot doesn't fix it. So just think about that the next time you go to Vegas. I'm just saying, the sign changed everything. They had a little thing on the sign in the airport. What happens here stays here. Now they're saying what happened here only happens here. I'm like, obviously you haven't been to Germany and you haven't been to parts of the Philippines and Thailand. But hey, what do I know?
Or Denmark.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So here's what we're going to do, guys. Stay on for a minute. Ty and I are going to just we're going to shut down the show.
Okay.
If you guys wait in the background for a moment or two for the debrief, and then I will see you there. So thank you once again for all of you joining us today. And remember, there is more schools out there, but not everyone was able to join us tonight. We'll have them in future places. So thank you, guys.
FMA Canada's.
All right. Thanks,
Have
boys.
a good night.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later.
Okay, as we thin the herd. Okay, so they're in the background. They can hear everything we say.
That was awesome. Actually, I think the side effect was that people got to see the interaction and the whole connection between everyone. I think that showed a lot about the WNA Canada and writ large.
Yeah, I mean, what a chaotic mess.
No, but in a good way.
No, yeah, it was. Here's the thing. I think shows like that are really good. I think all the guys would be good on the show and more in a feature event, a feature thing. So, I definitely want to look at having Jason come up more and tell stories more dialed in. This was the introduction to everybody. And now we talk and say, hey, why don't you come back and tell us more about your story versus because it's rough when we got so many people and we're all trying to share a little bit. And next thing you know, the show's over. And everyone's waiting there nicely and stuff. It's like when we did the show with with Dean the other day. There was 3 of us giving opinions, and by the time it was the opinion, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, right. Well, 4
I remember.
total, 3 or 4. Yeah, it was 4 total, right?
Yeah. It's like I remember what the question was. I just nodded off. No. So, but this is good. So right off the bat, I just want to talk about the events that are coming up for the rest of the year. This coming weekend, Thanksgiving weekend in the States, or Black Friday weekend, for those who know it that way. Saturday and Sunday, we are in Cambridge, Ontario for the Southern Ontario Camp. This is we're looking forward to doing that. We might actually be doing gradings. I'm not sure, but we are prepared to, whether we are or not. And I think we've got a sponsor for this one. I've got to double check. Actually, I'm going to just say, Carl, do we have a sponsor for this event? As he's got food in his mouth. All right, I'll let him swallow. He's back there again. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Carl, do we have a sponsor for this event?
We have a sponsor in a
Who's
way
our
to
sponsor?
start. Yes, so that is awesome.
Do we know who our sponsor is?
Can I say the name? Coca-Cola?
Are they sponsoring us this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be sponsoring part of the event.
Some of the refreshments. Very good.
Yes.
So the WMA is now being sponsored by, WMA Canada Camp is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Craig's like, Ty's like, what the hell? I would have gone.
That's right.
I drink both,
Mm-hmm.
but I collect exclusively Coca-Cola products. So in the other room, I've got a whole bunch of things. I'll have to put it on the show next time. And then the week after that is the 35th anniversary of Horizon Martial Arts, and we're doing the Triple Threat Seminar free of charge.
Yep.
Craig, Ty, and myself will be teaching. It's 2 hours. For those who don't, if you're coming in person, we'll probably go over that, but you'll need to register ahead of time. Both ways. If you're doing it virtually, we're only doing it live. We're not broadcasting anywhere but in Google Meet, so you need to subscribe to it. It is free of charge. If you don't know how to do it, reach out to me directly. But if you go to the website, worldmodernace.com, which is my little title thing right here below my name, go under the events, click on it. It will be a free sign-up. We're not recording it, so there will not be a copy that's floating around. So it's not one of those things, I'll see it later. It's now or never. And, I've already got 30 people signed up for virtual attendees.
Nice. I just sent it out a bunch of personal invites to a bunch of folks too.
And I've got probably another 20 personal supposed to be there in person. So I'm very excited about that. I think we've got a limit of 200 people online.
Okay.
So I think we're fine for that. And then the week after that, if you're in the Metro DC area, December 9th, Smoking Sticks for the first time together, Smoking Sticks Arnis seminar with Prasis Arnis, Terrell, Grandmaster Terrell Richardson with Datu Hartman. And actually the signups are actually registered through me. So if you sit there and see Horizon Martial Arts, I set up the payments for this for online registration. Terrell's setting it up because in August, the first weekend of August, who will be over here will be Grandmaster Rodel de Guck, probably the oldest living student of the late Grandmaster Remy Prasis. And he'll be joined by Tuhan Bobby Ladra and Datu Tim himself. I always worry about people that talked about themselves in the third person, but whatever. So anyways, that's the events that are coming up. You got anything coming up?
Before the end of the year, no, but I thought I'd put in a plug for our friend PG Sam. Same day in Ohio, right? The 9th. Yeah. He's doing his Prasis Arnis Forms seminar.
Yep, there we go.
So if you're out that way, check him out.
And there's a whole bunch of other things going on.
There are a lot of tons, yeah.
We had we camp this weekend, and PG Tye, along with PG Craig or Chad, co-host, helped me teach stuff of that nature. And I did I don't know if you saw the post I put up today. I put a social media post up on the website as well as on Instagram and Facebook. The two of them will be teaching for the 5th or 6th time. Delmarva,
Yep.
Delaware, Virginia. No, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia event. So it'll be the last weekend of June. It's put in the post. I'll be posting up a placeholder event on the page until I get the official flyer. Actually, and a lot of times, if you see a flyer up on our thing and it doesn't look like the official one, it's usually because it is it holds the spot there, so it's on the calendar until the host if the host has one of their own, so they can get it to me so I can put it up there. So,
and I sort of picked a tentative date. There's only one problem, so it may be around there. But right now, I'm saying 6th April for the 10th annual Spring FMA thing. My 15th such event. So that's a big one for me. I'm gonna try to make it as big as possible. So I'll let you know the exact date, but that's what it's looking like.
I'm doing a tournament that day, unfortunately, but
well, you didn't have it on your thing.
But I can have it up on the website. So, the tournament, that's just for my students, for kids only.
Yep.
So
I was looking at all the schedules, and then I just started to pick some dates.
It is what it is. It is.
Well, I haven't nailed it down because also there's another person I'm trying to do more things with that has a conflict. So we'll see. But anyway,
theoretically, the weekend after. Well, actually, April.
That's also the day after the academy teaching.
Yeah. And then And at the end of the day, don't worry about me because I'm looking at things. The week after that is Brazil. The week after that is Terry Dow's. The week after that is our camp, which is why we're moving it to May the following year.
Right.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to get these guys before they leave. Carl's getting up and trying to run away or scratching.
No, Carl, don't go.
Don't go away. So, listen, next week is about WMAA Brazil, baby.
Excellent.
Maybe I can't show up and stuff.
I don't think I can learn Portuguese in a week.
Okay, well that's okay. He's fairly good. And Tim says cheers. So I'm beginning to censor some of our comments there because some are a little off the beaten trail. We'll just go with that. So listen, it is always a pleasure. I want to thank our guests for showing up today and sharing information. It was not meant to be a Datu Tim Love Fest. I do understand that a lot of times when we have something about the WMA, some of the people feel very loyal to me and they want to share the things that they've done with me, but I really want to feature their accomplishments, not mine.
Yep.
Yes, I help these guys do it, but it's like a teacher and a student. Doesn't matter how good I am as a teacher, they still got to do the work. And these guys did phenomenal work.
Yeah.
I was there. I've been there for them just as much as they've been there for me. And it's a team, and that's familia. So we have that family, and I know, and Ty will tell you, there's a lot of times when we're calling each other up, and it's like, well, it has nothing to do with the martial arts. They just sometimes, hey, you need to scream and holler. Call me on the phone. You want to get away from town? Come on to see. He's in Buffalo all the time because he's just venting. So, and I can listen better when he smacks me. The family doesn't take him to court.
That's right. And it's not family, by the way. It's work. So
no, it's always work. It's never families. Come on. You love your family. You don't always like them, but you get through that shit. All right. Well, listen, as always, it's a pleasure and an honor for everyone who walked in here to spend their time with us. I really appreciate that. Came out not the way I wanted. I feel that this is an honor that you will share your time with us or spend your time afterwards watching this show. I might be doing a quasi-public apology. I've said something on a show. I got the snippet of what I said, but I don't have the context that was done. So you might hear an apology soon. There's going to be an apology of some sort because whatever I said, which I'm not going to hint to what it is, it didn't sound that way in my head. Then when I saw the video, like, okay, no, that doesn't sound like my normal Tim. But unfortunately, the person sent me a little snippet. I don't know the whole thing. And just sending me one sentence doesn't help a lot. So I'm going to check, and you might be seeing the Datu eat little crow. But that's, it's tasty. I can deal with it. All right. This is Datu Tim.
PG Tye. Thanks again, everyone.
And stay safe and stay sane.